there was no Fireball Friday night. I went to the movies and I'm all out of Fireball. So, if you follow the channel, I'm going to update you on the baits we used today. Went fishing with Charles today. Caught some bass. Going to be working on editing that footage. Today was the final video I had edited from last week that dropped today, this morning, if you guys watched it. If you haven't, go back and watch all the videos. If you haven't watched over 1,000 Bass and Bonsai fishing videos, go back. You're missing some. So, before we go into the baits, I want to talk about these reels. So, I was going to do an unboxing, but I don't know, things got carried away last night, and this reel showed up, but I didn't unbox it, and it came from eBay. No actual box, manual, none of that, just the reel, stock, and I've since changed it, and we'll talk about that. So I took the reel that was on, this is the blade, this is the Super Destroyer. These are the newer tatula reels. So I took the reel that was on this one, transferred the handle around from another one, put on the Super Destroyer, and we did get out and try it today just the way, well, almost the way it was. I switched a few things around here today. But I've also made myself some more hook keeper, bait keeper deals. So I don't have to hook it way up here somewhere and all that kind of stuff. So that is a Super Destroyer with the tatula, 8-to-1 on it, and did excellent today. No problem. I didn't really get a lot of fish with it, but it works like a charm on the Super Destroyer. This one also worked fine, no problem today, but I just didn't use it enough to, and I'm just trying to see if I like it because it's 6-3-1. So I just picked this one up off eBay, shipped and everything. It was like 149 bucks. The auction was, I won for like 132 or something. It was $7 to ship, and then another $10 to pay tax. So I paid tax on my money, and then the dude that bought this paid tax, and everybody's paying tax, and we pay more tax, right? No. But anyway, I got it. Just today I finished up. I put in the two bearings instead of bushings on either side of this line guide, worm gear, whatever you want to call it. So it's got those two bearings, and we also added a drag clicker. And I didn't even know I had one for it, but it's got a drag clicker. I've changed. I kind of rounded these off. These are nasty, but they don't look too bad. It's just the cork is not that great. But we've got a drag clicker added. The Probero's 20-pound line. I do have 15-pound leader, and I also made one of the little keepers for it. So be looking forward to see if I like that 6-3 ratio or not on the blade. I'm going to try to utilize the blade for some more stuff, because if you guys follow the channel, you know I've kind of, in the last few months, ever since the Screaming Thunder Crickets, right? I've kind of changed up my favorite rod and reel combo for chatterbaits, but basically because I've kind of changed up my chatterbaits into more of the Thunder Crickets over the traditional stuff, and I'm definitely not going to be getting any more jackhammers, since they've even raised the price more on those. So if you guys want this tatula, and Josh had commented to me about, he heard me ranting about how awesome I think these reels are, the best tatula they've ever made, and so he bought one. He said he's happy with it, really likes it. They're just good reels. They palm very good. They're not too big. They're not too little. They're very smooth. They've got the hyperdrive and boost spool, so they cast excellent. Ease of cast and distance is both there. And you can track them down for under $200, even if you don't want any extra bling, you don't care about a drag clicker, and you don't really even need the bearings up here. They're still smooth. You honestly don't know if I can tell the difference. Sometimes in my head I'm like, oh yeah, I can feel it's a little bit freer, but I don't even know if I can or not, to be honest. That's why Daiwa didn't really put them up there. That's why Shimano only put so many bearings in theirs and bushings in other spots. So anyway, awesome reels. That's why now you see me with two. Eventually, you may not see me with any more for a while, because here's my thoughts on this. The tatula, I'm sure this one's doing pretty good. I would hope so anyway. I would assume that they're going to come out with this in sort of elite, or whatever they do on their, when they kind of have an upgraded version of the tatulas after they've been out for, Daiwa does the regular one, the SV one, and then an elite or something to generate more sales kind of deal. Maybe the same thing with just a different kind of coating of paint or some extra little emblem somewhere. But this is an excellent reel. I'm just waiting to see, I think, before I buy any more. I just happened upon this one for, I knew I was going to end up probably under 150 bucks. I'm like, I'll just have to get it. The fact I happen to have a drag clicker that fit right in it was a bonus. I didn't even realize I had any left that would fit it. And I actually have enough stuff, I think, to make at least one more. But anyway, enough about rod and reels. If you have any questions about those, comment below in any of the videos when we talking about the Zillion and the Tatula. This week I was going to go out and put this reel right here, but I even left it. I didn't even take it with me today. The whole, you guys know the deal. The Poison Adrena is my poor stepchild that I hardly ever take out much, and the Zillion's on it now. And I left it, scratched up, that dirty dog. I just left it on the wayside today, and it and the Elite TI, I guess it's a good thing when this combo right here and then this combo right here are a couple of your, nowadays anyway, least favorite combos. So you leave them behind, so you only take 9 rods instead of 11. So I just I'll leave both of these behind. The Elite TI is still overall good, excellent, but I don't think the loose reels are quite where the Daiwa reels are. And that rod, I like the Lose Signature series better. The KVD jerkbait one. It's roughly the same exact thing as far as specs, but I just like that jerkbait rod better. But anyway, yeah, I left those behind. Be looking forward to. I still think the Zillion will probably outcast the Tatula by a little bit. I mean, it should. It's more money, and it technically has a better spool in it because it doesn't have the long shaft going all the way across. But the Tatula will cast as good as you possibly need to cast. I don't feel. So let me just go a little step further. So when I'm out fishing and using this reel, now maybe not the 6-3 to 1, I might want to switch back to keep all my stuff. I typically, everything is 8 to 1 unless I just get a deal if the reel is only made in a 7.5 to 1, like the Elite TI and just a few others. But I don't feel that I'm missing anything from upgrading, because you guys know the deal. I have Steezes. I've got 5 Steez reels, and I feel the Tatula will do everything my Steez reels will, or the Zillion will. And I feel that, what's up, Michael? I feel the Zillion will do everything those Steez reels will. Now they're lighter weight, but a lot of times that doesn't really even matter, because then you just have to balance more on if you're really worried about balancing a rod and reel combo. Long story, but anyway, let's go to the baits we used today. There's a very short list. I'm just going to weed through this right here, and I'm just going to show you the ones that worked. And you guys know which ones they will be. But see this color right here? Those were tearing them up. See this right here? Now, I didn't use it a real long time. I caught a gigantic green sunfish on it, and it was sort of working. But I switched pretty quick to just the old, brush hog. This is the medium, mid-sized brush hog, they call it. It's not a full size, and it's not the baby brush hog. And the only reason I have, that's all, the only size they had in Junebug the day I was at Cabela's, and I need to order some actual baby brush hogs in Junebug, because the Junebug was the color of the day. So that caught a couple, and I switched to that, and then proceeded to, I think I went through 2 or 3 of these. They were working good. I did manage, I think, I couldn't get nothing on that. I threw this just a little bit. So the jig wise, in this jig, I thought I was going to make something that was going to work. That really didn't do anything either. I put a kamikaze swim on that's that new jig with that. I always get his name, not Andy Montgomery. I always want to say Andy Montgomery, but the other dude. Anyway, that didn't work anyway. I did manage to catch, I think, one bass on a baby brush hog in that color. My favorite color that this year is not my favorite color by far. I set out for a season and this color goes to crap. I can't catch nothing on that color. But those colors weren't really, it was this color, Junebug. So this one was also working, but I kind of did better just with soft plastic rather than an actual jig. But I did catch a few on it. Top water, I don't have it out, but you guys know the deal. The it's over there buried. The Guggen bait, bluegill, buzzbait. I think I managed one fish on it. I threw whopper plopper and a buzzbait. One hit, caught the little dink, and they just were not hitting top water. Tried my master splinter, nothing. Never even got a hit on this dude. Nothing even. Now that setting got hot. It was straight, but yeah, the pink and that combo, that thing was just junk. Never even got hit. Briefly tried that on the back, and the orange just wasn't working. No orange was working, so I abandoned ship on trying to do that orange bait comparison deal. We'll have to wait. And then he set in his claw, touched something in there, melted a little bit. That's the downside to Elastic. I'm going to have to start carrying 2 Ziploc bags and throw my Elastic in one and the regular stuff in the other when I bring them home to do like this kind of video, because it just, that trip home and it like will make them toast. So anyway, let's jump to, because like this guy's got the orange, nothing. Briefly threw a spinnerbait with orange, nothing. So here, this Bonsai, this Screaming Thunder cricket, he lost an eye, was flat tearing them up. So between, not even really this was sort of working, but between this Screaming Thunder cricket, this exact bait here, and luckily I flipped it over once. You can see it got chewed up. I flipped it over and we managed to make it one kamikaze swim on through the whole day. Lost an eye on the Screaming Thunder cricket, but was flat, catching quite a few and good chunks. Like the one thing is that the bigger fish came on this bait, and then pretty decent ones and dinks were coming on this bait too. So literally, really, those two. And I was, oh, you know what? Let me get it because I just want to talk about it real quick. Hang on. Hang on. I gotta find it. Okay, here it is. So here is the exact setup. I don't really, not worried about showing the rod and reel combo, but it's the 803 with the steez. I guess I could, now I'm going to leave it wrapped up. So I still got it wrapped up. I plan on using it tomorrow. So there was the setup I was using, and it's real simple. I mean, it's just a Texas rig, very cheap. I think that's 1/4 ounce, kind of like a snell knot, you know, to where there's no knot sticking above the hook to where this isn't going to bang it. And plus, I also run my soft plastic kind of over where there would have been, you know, completely over the hook, or if there was a knot, and that way that would also protect it. But these hooks, that's the hook from AliExpress, the 3/0, and that hook has just worked very well. Still sharp, caught quite a few fish today, and I threw this and that, and that, like everything I caught with the soft plastic was thrown on this rod and reel combo with that rigged on it. And I think I retied once just because I started getting a little from their, you know, fish lips were fraying on my line a little bit. Let me get that hook back in. But anyway, that those AliExpress hooks are very good, and it's like 10 for $1.50. I'm kind of impressed with how well, like when I set the hook, I had the fish in. But that's a Loomis NRX 803 with the Steez limited reel. P-line original line. We got the best stuff. So that I was impressed with the AliExpress hook though, so I figured I'd just show you guys that my little setup, and that was just game on. Like I said, yeah, these two I probably shouldn't have bit the heads off. I probably should have just stuck another one on. I could have melted them down and used them again, but I really wanted to get the baby brush hog. So in case you guys don't know, they do make a, you know, that's a baby brush hog. This is a full size one. This is a mid, so it's bigger. It's not as big as the brush hogs, but it's a little bit bigger than the baby. But I still, this is what I like. Like if I slow down to soft, I don't really like just going out and fishing with soft plastic. I use it as a backup bait on any time I usually throw a soft plastic, or I guess if I feel like I've had to resort to that, then I usually want to try to go finessey. So I'm usually going smaller. So I'm going with like the baby brush hog, a smallie beaver, you know, the little fuzzy, or like a smaller, now possibly like a full rage menace or a baby rage menace. Like I go to a smaller thing. I usually don't ever just go out and like throw sweet beaver. Maybe sometimes I used to in the past, but or like with worms. Oh yeah, let's talk about that. That dude, I got one fish, ripped the worm to pieces, the first one, and I put another one on briefly, and then I went, no, those worms suck. So I won't be fishing using those anymore. But everywhere I've been so far, one or two colors like kicks in as a trailer, and it's either this color, and I've been calling that color wrong. The Kamikaze Swim On is a June bug candy, not a June bug magic or whatever. I was calling it I don't know where I got the magic from, but June bug candy. So it's got slightly little, and I'll try to show you the difference. This is the same thing here. But anyway, the June buggy type color as a trailer or by itself, and then the some kind of orange. One or the other seems to be like a just in all the water I fished so far. But as far as just throwing the plastic on bottom, it's been June bug over most other colors. Some other times it's this was kind of okay, but it's usually this. So the June bug, you guys all know a June bug is just kind of that. I call it, it's green fleck or almost a turquoise fleck with just on a purple, right? Plastic. And then the Kamikaze Big Bite Baits, this craw. I'm trying to turn it where you guys could see it. It does have, okay, right there. It just, this has like flecks of purple, like a lighter purplish pink, along with, this one does not have a lot of any flecks. That's probably why you weren't working as good. Get out of here. Here's one. Yeah, that one does more in there. See that? So it's kind of just a June bug that has some purple fleck added, basically, is the difference in the Big Bite Baits purple candy. I guess you can see it more in that. But just an excellent color almost everywhere I go so far this season. It'll work, but then sometimes the orange just, it kicks in, is working better. And the water was actually staying enough today. I thought the orange would have worked, but we were at a place, it's a pit that we hadn't fished in over a year, maybe close to, I don't know, it's been a while. It was used to be clear water. So if you guys remember the place, you probably remember if you follow the channel. We used to fish at a place, and we still do. We've only hit it once this year. There's a place, I just called it Paradise because the water was like real clear. I'm like, oh, we're in Paradise because it was full of little dinks. Like, if you ever been to the places, like every time you threw your pole out, you're catching a little bass, and you're like to the point where you start throwing bigger and different stuff to try to keep the little ones away and to let a bigger one go. But I don't know. I just kind of called it Paradise. This place is up from it, but usually almost as clear or as clear water. It's not clear, like it's, I don't know if the algae bloom or whatever, but it's maybe 3 to 5 foot visibility, maybe, but probably not even that. It was definitely a darker water, but it's funny though that the dark colors were still. And I know a lot of you are like, well, the dark colors, but sometimes it's usually both. It's like what I've usually found was a black and blue. And Charles Bree, I didn't even get a black and blue out. I just never made it that far because when I hunkered down and either through this or through this, it was game on. So if there was grass or a shallower, I was throwing that and swimming it. And if it was, as it got deeper or where I had been catching them here, and I threw this out in a little deeper and just let it hit and bounce. And don't, it was like, I don't know how many I caught. Caught quite a few bass and some little dinks. Like I mentioned, we caught a giant green sunfish on this dude. Like he had a big enough mouth, just had all of that in it. So I was like, that thing is gigantic. I don't know what it weighed. I didn't weigh it. So, any questions? Yeah, Andy Morgan jig. That's it. I got Andy Montgomery in my head anytime that like a Strike King thing because of him and that the way he talks about the thunder cricket, and I'm like, that dude. They need me to be a spokesperson for thunder crickets. But yeah, the Andy Morgan jig, I don't know. I don't plan on buying any more of them. I'll put it to you that way. It hasn't done it hasn't impressed me enough. I need to change out. I think my favorite, the Bluegill 2, I even ordered another pack of them coming. I think I've kind of sent to, I think I don't even have one out right at the moment. But I think that darker, see how this is just a darker green. I think that is actually the ticket, so far this season anyway, opposed to those bluegilly colors that are lighter. I think that darker, and then with that purpley thing, you would think it's to imitate a bluegill, even though I think we're imitating crawdads. I'm not sure what in out of the grass, but I don't know. They just like this darker because the bluegrass, the actual Z-Man or the Boss bluegill, it tends to have just a darker vibe going to it. Here's kind of a example on this one. There's just not quite as many. There's some that get close, but not quite as dark, and then it lightens up with a lot of other blue and orange on the belly. It still works. It'll still flat start catching them, but like it seems like if they're wanting that darker purple, it's when you put it on one of these darker bodied blue or bluegill skirts, and they will go on fire. But this old peanut butter and jelly dude right there did manage a few, but then I kind of went away from it just because it seemed like it was harder to throw it out and get it to work and get bit. The 1/4 ounce with this, I could get through the grass and just get through the gunk we were fishing in better than a jig, period, bouncing it on bottom. Now, swimming it, I think most of them, the few I did catch, I actually had to keep it moving and almost like swimming it like a swim jig. So that's pretty much it. That's what I was trying to do with this one. I was trying to kind of use it as like just swimming something down, and that dude never did anything. I briefly tried this. I don't even think I ever had anything on it. Peanut butter and jelly. I think I caught one, but so let's go through the baits that absolutely didn't work. This one I was not overly impressed. Nothing on. I tried jerkbait, a couple different jerkbaits. Let's just look at them. Let's just look at them while they're all stuck together. Look at all these failures. No top water on this, no top water on that, no top water on the Pop Max in my favorite color. They wouldn't even look at it. The two different, I was kind of like a natural, because when we first got there, it was just starting to get light. There was stuff working on it, like out in the middle, and I just couldn't get them to hit on anything. So I tried matte shed at first, and then I realized the water was darker. So then I tried our whatever that one is, Table Rock Special, whatever. And then I was trying just a booyah hard knocker in a bluegilly type color. None of that stuff. They didn't want. They were basically locked in on the grass, and they didn't want to come out. So you had to throw this in there, or the edge of the grass kind of thing to get them, or you had to like zip this, whipping it, popping it through the grass for me anyway. And that's where most of my bigger type fit. You could catch a little dink here and there doing almost anything. They were still hard, they weren't just hitting everything, but those were the two baits that you thought you might be getting caught in grass, and then you were catching fish. So I guess I'm going to keep it right there. I'm going to try to go out fishing tomorrow. They're calling chance of storms, this and that, whatever. So I'm going to try to get out if I can. I got to get all this stuff put back up. I don't think I'm going to buy any more of these. I know I said I probably won't buy any more swim-ons, but man, they do keep getting hit. And I noticed I really haven't gone through a ton. I don't think I've lost a full pack of swim-ons. Definitely not the purple one since I've started, because I will, just like what I will with this one, I may not mess with it until after tomorrow. But I will take this and I will literally melt it back to where I can use it again. It's right here. As long as this doesn't start tearing, see how these are already tearing right there? As long as that doesn't completely rip off, you can still use these. And this is probably the best just thing I've seen behind a chatterbait. It lets it still do its thing, but it's giving it a profile. And these are back there when you're going kind of slow. They're just kind of doing a little kick thing, but there's nothing there. So when you're pulling it, like my hand up, dude, it just, they work. And the Screaming Thunder Cricket, I got the weight right to where most of that grass. Now, I probably could have went to a bigger one today. I just didn't make it that far, and gotten a little on the deeper edge of some of that stuff. But these were pretty steep. It was a pit, so some of the banks drop off fairly quick. But where the grass, like then the grass would end. But this dude was doing like the work. He has surpassed. This was the second one that I made. He is way more beat up. Hook is still sharp. He is beat up, but man, he's still a screaming. I might have to get him an eye. I can't have a one-eyed Screaming Thunder Cricket, or can I? But you can see how they make these. They that's a roll pin. See that pin? So you could actually change these out. You pop the eyes, and you could in theory change your blade. You'd use keep the little thing, pull it out of one if you wanted like a gold or whatever, and you could switch them around, because that's just like on, if you guys are ever familiar with the Glock or anything, where you just have, or not a Glock necessarily, but certain things have pins like that you punch out. And so I have the stuff I could do that if I wanted to start jacking around that far. But these have become my favorite chatterbaits. Just in how they get through the grass, like when the bite's tough. And so I still think there's a time for whether you have jackhammers, Z-Man originals, they thump a little harder than these guys. These guys don't thump as hard, but these guys can get down in that gunk and just come through it cleaner than any chatterbait I've used. And right now, it's at the grind of the summertime, and to get them to hit, a lot of times you got to be in there, and the more you can clean back off and then let them hit it kind of thing, or be down there messing with it, the better of a chance and more bites you will get. So that's why these are, they seem to be working once you get a color that they kind of like. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Get out and go bass bonsai. Keep it a half hour. Stay tuned. If I do any good, or if something spectacular happens, I'll probably do a live stream tomorrow night, but it's a possibility I may wait till Monday or two. I've got some stuff coming. I got a tackle warehouse order coming, and a few things also from AliExpress, so I may wait until those come in. We'll do another little live stream, talk about stuff, and then I'll update you on as I use the 6.3 to 1 more, because I want to get out when I almost did it today. I just never made it to that point of trying to throw. I briefly threw I don't even remember which Thunder Cricket. One of these Screaming Thunder Crickets I threw on the 6-3 to 1, because I took it out today before I switched everything up. So the way it looks now, I had it stock. So it didn't have a drag clicker, it didn't have those bearings in here, it just had the stock drag star and handle, and I was out there fishing with it, but I didn't fish a long time. But tomorrow or the next time I go out, I plan on putting it head to head up against the GLX with the 8-3, whatever the Steez SVTW is, and just kind of see how well I like the speed of that throwing these chatterbaits. And I may throw some of the Lightroom ones. I may even break out the Evo minis or whatever. Oh, did you guys also see, for those of you that didn't, they're coming out with a micro Elite Evo or whatever. So they haven't been available. I've been looking at them ever since the 4th of July deal. They've been on Tackle Warehouse website, but they're like, you can't even back order them or anything. So they are the Evos and the Mini Max Evos and all those are done so well that now they've got even a smaller version. I don't think I'm going to get any of those, but it's just worth noting if you guys haven't seen those yet. Those will be coming down the pipeline somewhere. The bait that actually looked good, I just caught a glimpse of the video. I don't even know how old the video was, but the Z-Man, what is it, Swag LT or something, that bait looks pretty decent. I don't know what they're going to end up wanting for it or whatever, but that bait looks pretty good to me. I am going to be going through this big box. I pretty much have everything I need, but that big box weighs like 35 pounds, and I carry 2 other boxes with soft plastics in it. I'm gonna downsize all that stuff here. Before summer's over, my plan is to get just everything in my one Calcutta box and to be less than 35 pounds. Oh yeah, and then Brew Tank, if you happen to be watching this, I did a quick little thing. I'm gonna probably put it out. So I took my sunscreen. I'll talk about that real quick. I know, I always going to end the video. So I did it again. I put this sunscreen, because this stuff, let me smell it. You guys smell that. It smells like the beach. But anyway, I used this sunscreen, took a little dab and spread it all over the baby brush hog, but I couldn't get a bass to hit it in like the first or second cast, but like 3 to 5 casts in, I would get, so I caught a bass. I think I caught 2 different bass, and then I never did switch out. Like I stopped using these when they became so torn up that I had to go, I shortened the head once, and then still got all destroyed to where I had to go through, and I was on my 3rd one. But during that, I think I put it on one, and I managed to catch a bass, and it destroyed it. So then I put a brand new one on, and I think that's one I maybe have on now, and I coated it again, and we caught another bass a little later on. So I did it 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know, it's been a while. I used this same stuff, Hawaiian Tropic, this stuff anyway. I can't say the same for any, if it's got a weird smell to it, it may not, but this is cruelty-free stuff, guys. It's vegan. But whatever this is, it does not, in my opinion anyway, and it softens and leaves skin glowing for radiant skin. Anyway, that's what I use, and I don't have any concerns of, like, after I put sunscreen on, if I get it on a bait, oh my God, they're going to stop hitting kind of deal. I used to in the past. I'd be like, I would swear that, man, after I, it started getting hot, I started getting sunburnt, or felt like before I got sunburned, I need to put sunscreen on, fish, and then all of a sudden the bite shut off, right? And you're like, oh God, it's the sunscreen. Well, I can't blame that anymore, because I literally can coat it on and still catch fish. So if you get just a sliver on somewhere or another, I don't think you got to worry about it. So be looking forward to that video. I don't know if it'll be in a whole video, or I'll put a little section of it in to leave it in one of the full videos, but it'll probably just be the short one I'll put out. Maybe even put it out for tomorrow, just so you can see kind of what was going on. And that's it. So yeah, 35-minute video. See you guys later. Thanks for watching. Get out and go bass and bonsai. I gotta go. 35-minute.